Joan Baez.
So I'm way more worried about my mic's battery level, but
Why
we'll
is yours
we'll just keep an eye on it. It was the one I was using for testing the other day. But I mean, we're going.
Okay. Oh, wait, we're recording?
Huh?
Fuck, okay.
Do you want to send me the graphic so it's not just a black screen?
I think I already did. I sent it to you in a text.
Oh.
But do you need me to send it to, like, an email or something?
Oh, yeah, you did text it to me. No, I can do it.
Do you want to stop this recording so we can, like, start recording when we're ready?
No, I think this is good. This is what the people want.
Hi! Just me saying hi.
The people want authenticity.
I want to know what people, because in reality, what it's probably going to be is going to be me listening to this in the future. And I'm going to be the first listener / watcher.
No, we got to be narcissistic enough to think that everyone in the world wants to hear what you and I are talking about, because we're just
We are intellects.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be interesting if we did a tarot reading on the pod?
Yeah, do you want to do a tarot reading for the podcast?
Yeah, let's do the past. Well, we can't do past, present, future in the pod.
Yeah, we can, because I mean,
we don't
this I think is gonna evolve into this podcast has existed for a while.
Is this the one that you're talking about that we've done, like the battling of the serial creatures?
Yeah, it's all a part of the.
You're thinking, but that's all part of your cinematic universe. I think this is something
This has to exist as something new.
Audiatic universe. What the fuck?
Well, does this fall with? So this isn't. This is from the Ethan Levine Podcast Network.
Okay, well,
but this isn't an extension.
Very quickly got two
cards
that fell out. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to read these cards and how they relate to the possible present and future of this pod. Let's not do past. We aren't curious about the past. We're only looking in the future.
Shit about the past.
Is your mic going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's also this thing that shows what it is. We got some. We're working on some newer NEEWER mics that Abby bought me. Hey, I'm Ethan. This is Abby, by the way, for all of our first-time listeners out there.
Thank you very much. My name is Abby.
Hi, Abby.
I was gonna try to go through a list of things that I accomplish. I'm a yogurt slinger at Sweet Yog.
Yogurt slinger. Yeah, I sling that yog.
That's my thing that I do on my Bumble to try to make friends. That's what I have. Whereas asks your work thing, I just say yogurt slinger.
Yogurt slinger. That sounds inappropriate. Is what it sounds like.
Well, I thought it was just fun, not inappropriate. But okay. So our readings for this pod, we have. What the fuck is that? Two of Swords? Is swords a thing?
Yeah, Two of Swords.
Two of Swords and the King of Pentacles.
You want to describe the tarot card? We have traditional tarot cards. That's our style.
Yeah. So, well, our style. I bought these 2 days ago. So we have someone that looks like they're from Star Wars, blindfolded, holding two swords, in some kind of stone throne with their back facing the sea, it appears. I don't think there is a thing of swords. What do you mean? Swords. No, you're right. There are swords. A hoodwinked figure balances two swords upon her shoulders. It's a her!
Love hers.
So, what this... Based off of my little book...
Oh, we got the graphic up.
Oh, God. Wait,
it's big.
Is it all of it? Or are you zooming it down? I was going to say, I made the graphic really big.
There we go.
Here we go. Abby and Ethan. Also, during our conversation, I think we should talk about what we're going to name this. But, let me get back to the reading.
Mm-hmm.
Conformity in the equipoise, which it suggests... Courage, friendship, affection, concord, and a state of arms, intimacy. Which I feel like that's a good indication of what this podcast could be. Just two friends talking.
Yeah.
Really getting into some shit, some intimate conversations.
Yeah.
That seems appropriate.
Getting into some shit.
And I'm
really digging into some poop.
This book, though, is not that descriptive, so I do want to actually look at some stuff online. But at least for the sake of this and our little fun that we're having with it, I'll call it good. And then we also have the King of Pentacles card.
The King of Pentacles?
Yeah.
Pentacles are stars for all my...
Stars in yellow circles.
Think of a pentagram, but not as cool.
What do you mean? I'd say cooler because it doesn't have the... But see, I'm so used to just anti-satanic propaganda in my Christian upbringing that, like, I'm kind of cool with it. Surprisingly. I can't find...
Yeah, me and Satan are pretty chill.
Well, I think if anything, like, people that, like, worship Satan, I think, are cooler than people that worship God, in my opinion. But let's not get into that right now.
I remember one time we were shooting interviews downtown during, I think it was Pride. And Hugh was, like, interviewing,
I like that you didn't say interviewing.
The Michigan Satanic Temple had a booth set up at Pride. Because, you know, they're cool. Because, like, they're not about praising Satan. They're just about, like, shitting on the church.
Well, it's
and
not,
not
so
even that.
Shitting on the church. All that, like, I've seen of people that worship Satan is just about rejection of conformity and embracing what is just, you know, worldly physical pleasures, which, honestly, like, is kind of all we have in this world. So, like, thank God for that, at least.
Yeah, and we can really thank the... And I know there's a difference between, like, the Church of Satan and the Satanic Church or the Temple.
Yeah.
Because I know one of them's the good one and one of them's just, like, a money grab. But, like, the good one, like, they also, like, sue a bunch of states for,
really?
I can't remember what state it was, but there was a state that was, like, we need to have... It's like the Lord's Prayer or something up in, like, each classroom or whatever.
Ooh.
And then, so the Satanic Temple then sued and said, okay, if you're going to do that, then you need to allow satanic prayer.
Yeah.
Because
which, honestly, valid, because why the fuck are we, like, a Christian-dominated culture?
Yeah.
When, like, there are so many people that are non-Christians that are still in America.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Let's get some Muslim shit. Let's get some Buddhist shit. I want to see world religions. Okay, but the King Pentacles card also seems kind of fitting. The divinity meanings are valor, realizing intelligence, business and normal intellectual aptitude, sometimes mathematical gifts and attainments of this kind successful in these paths. So it just seems like we're going to have some intellectual deep conversations.
We're going to do some math.
Well, you're mathy, right? You like math. That's not for me, but for how it relates to you, sure. So I think interesting that those two fell out, but I think that maybe relates.
That was the universe wanting us to do a tarot reading.
Well, that's what you do, like when you shuffle cards. If there's cards that fall out, it's like, oh, this is like it has like a meaning because these cards want to be seen and presented to you.
They're literally jumping out of the deck.
They are. That's what happens.
You remember Mighty Beans?
I do. Ethan, we've talked about Mighty Beans before, and the smell that they've had. I do not have a recollection as to Mighty Beans and like having them necessarily, but I really remember how they fucking smell. Oh, there goes the tarot cards.
Dude, the whole deck's jumping out at us. What does that mean?
But Mighty Beans have a very specific smell to them. I don't know how to describe it because it's almost like
that's offensive.
Well, it's like old plastic, but like maybe just the suggestion of it being like Mighty Beans.
Dude,
I don't smell like beans.
I don't necessarily remember what they smell like because I never had Mighty Beans. I just had friends who had Mighty Beans.
It's oh my god, it's the same sense of like how Play-Doh smells, but like with
Play-Doh.
bean and plastic. It smells like, you know, like little boys playing in the dirt, and then they just kind of smell like stink and plastic.
I do not.
I think that's what Mighty Beans smell like, is stink and plastic.
Interesting.
And my recollection of little boys that I was around when I was younger. I'm not currently around little boys smelling them. I feel like I should Maybe clarify.
Nothing better than the smell of a stinky little boy.
Oh, God.
I feel like we've watching so much Criminal Minds. Anytime I like say anything about a kid, it just makes me feel worse.
But what we're gonna try to do with this podcast generally is talk about a certain topic. Ethan, once we get into the flow of this, he's gonna present some more statistical information on these.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
I don't know.
statistical analysis of the things.
You're gonna get into this, and I'm just gonna think generally and very broadly about.
I took stats twice in college, so that means I'm extra good at it.
I took stats once and I fucking hated it. I want to burn my stats notebooks.
Well, I mean, I failed it the first time.
That's
why I took it twice.
I passed with an A, so I did really well, but I just fucking hated stats.
I blame it on my dyslexia, because like there's so many like N and M mean different things, and then there's
they're
P
very
and I,
specific
right? Q
connotations. Yeah, that you need to realize that they are for that very specific thing. So that's fair. But today's topic.
Surprised? Are you trying to get me to
No, we talked about this before. We said we're going to talk about color.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's just generally something that we both have pretty strong opinions on.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how long you actually want to talk about this. I was going to say we can maybe do a quiz to find out what is your soul color.
Soul color?
If anything,
Sounds
I think
like
my
anime.
contribution will definitely be just like Quotev quizzes, shit like that. Because it makes it very personal when it's like, what is your favorite dessert? A cupcake or a cake or a candy? And then all of a sudden that just assigns you with something. You know what I mean? You know Quotev quizzes? You ever?
No,
you ever
I'm more of a BuzzFeed quiz kind of
Well,
guy.
okay, but still with the BuzzFeed quiz, you get very into that one specific thing. I loved a Quotev quiz, a BuzzFeed quiz.
Did you ever do a political compass quiz in high school?
I did, yeah. Where it's like that square.
Yeah, when I took it, I was the most liberal kid in high school by far.
I don't remember where I landed. I just know I was like, I think I was here.
You were...
Okay,
So that's libertarian, which is interesting. Because
I took that when I was fucking 16 and I haven't taken it since. So I don't know if that relates to how I am now.
No, you weren't libertarian. You were... Because the quadrant Abby is describing is the
bottom left.
The lower left quadrant. The lower right
Definitely
quadrant is liberalism.
Towards the middle, but like far, far fucking over on the left.
So the x-axis, the horizontal axis, I believe, is social, like liberty, like the left side. The left side of it is social conservatism, and the right side is social liberalism. So like, if you were pro-abortion, you'd be on the right side. If you were pro, it's a little backwards, but and then I think the y-axis.
But I'm pro-abortion.
Yeah, but I mean in high school, I mean there's a bunch of questions that go into it.
Okay.
Like it would also ask you like, do you believe the government should like control big banks and stuff like that? And like a lot of people in high school, since like they grow up in like you and I in Michigan, like in rural Michigan, were very much like, no, businesses should be able to do whatever they want.
Where did you land on it? Because I think you know a little more definitively of where you ended up.
I was very far bottom right, which is like social liberalism, while also like government should control businesses, which is like the y-axis is. Here, let's just look it up. We have a computer in front of us.
We do have a computer. I don't know how this relates to color. But I will say, while Ethan is looking that up, I think, so my go-to, I think why color is a very quick conversation for us to
No, I had it backwards.
Okay. Wait, fuck, then did I have it backwards?
No, you were, if you remember being on the lower left, that's where we want to be. That's liberalism.
Okay.
That's like social freedoms and
here. Oop. It's a touch screen. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
But real quick, what I was saying while Ethan's figuring that out, my go-to conversation starter that's not really a conversation starter and more just a a quick observant thing is always, what's your favorite color today? Because when I was growing up as a kid, and I would always talk to my grandparents on Thursdays or Fridays every week, I would always ask them, what's your favorite color today? In the hopes that it would change, and it would be a little interesting, but just for the sake of talking about color and what colors people are appreciating. My grandma would always say lime green or leopard. I think my grandpa always said blue. I think those are the only people that I really asked on a consistent basis. But I remember one day very specifically that my favorite color changed multiple times. It was orange, it was purple, it was green. I was covering a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think just appreciating colors is a very fun thing to do. So that's why Ethan brought this up as a conversation topic, because even as we're sitting and doing nothing, I always say, what's your favorite color today?
And I'm going to play devil's advocate this episode and why colors suck.
Co-
There should be no colors.
Shut up. Colors rock.
There shouldn't
colors
even
rock
be,
my
there
world.
shouldn't
And if
even
you're
be
going to play
black and
devil's
white.
advocate...
Everything should be darkness.
Shut up. See, if you're going to play devil's advocate for color, then we can't have this podcast.
I'm just kidding. I'm just goofing around.
As long as you're goofing. Because colors are really important to me. I really like colors. But go with your political compass.
No, I'm done with it. I'm
Yeah.
done with that tangent. I was wrong about it, and now I'm embarrassed.
So I was right.
But I mean,
I hardly knew what I was talking about.
I mean,
so.
I do remember being like the most liberal person
Abby,
by far in my
we
high school.
should keep a scoreboard for like points when I win something and then when you win something.
I
'Cause
didn't
feel
realize
like
that
we
was a
will-
competition, but
I
okay.
feel like we will debate things. I feel
Sure.
like just in our nature and how we talk about stuff, there's going to be certain things that like I'm going to have an opinion on, or you're going to have an opinion on, and I'm going to be right sometimes, and you're going to be right
See, if you're making it
sometimes.
a competition, you're going to make me care way more about the debate, which might make things...
And that's going to make it worse for me because you're good at debate, and I never took debate. There's fucking...
I mean, I
never
didn't take
mind.
debate, but I
Hey,
mean...
Ethan, what's your favorite color?
I kind of really like the Abby's wearing a what is it? Yeah, I barely escaped the 500-pound man killing clam at the Seashell City, 7075 Levering Road, Sheboygan, Michigan 4972. You can call
721.
721. You can call them at 231-627-2066, or you can visit their very handy website at www.seashellcitymichiganmi.com. Once again, that's www.seashellcitymi.com.
I fucking love Seashell City. If we're going to talk about Seashell City, I fucking love Seashell City.
Can I add something about their... I'm assuming their website is protected, so it might be http://
https:// They have really fucking good gummies. They have a really fun bathroom that at one point also had a hand scrub in the women's room. They have like a shark that you can stick your head through and it's really fun. It's, if you're ever in...
Dude, we should do an episode on bathrooms. I could talk a lot about bathrooms.
I could talk a lot about bathrooms as well.
We could like a ranking of our
Chick-fil-A
favorite.
and how you can have fucking mouthwash in some of those
What the
bathrooms.
fuck?
Okay, let's not talk about that now if we're
Yeah.
going to talk about that future thing. But Seashell City rocks. They have a giant clam.
Do they have rocks at
which is
Seashell
what-
City?
I'm sure they have like Petoskey stones or something. It's a UP.
Yeah.
I'm sure they fucking sell stones. But it's a lot of t-shirts. And my favorite t-shirt that I have, I got from Seashell City, and it's my Roadkill Cafe shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a bunch of fucking dumb names on the back of
Yeah,
like
but like menu items
Oodle
and
of
stuff.
Poodle, fucking, you know, like the different
Yeah,
things that could
there's,
get
like-
hit in the road that have
yeah.
like then chefy.
Like
names.
monster truck moose. I don't know. I can't remember. We should like try to pull that shirt. Should I try to
Morsel of
find it?
moose.
Morsel of moose. That might be one.
If I
I'll try
think,
to find it. Where's it? Do you know where it might be?
I really don't, and honestly, it might be in the wash or it might be on the chair of laundry.
The chair of laundry.
Which, at this point, Ethan, I really think we should talk about colors.
Okay.
I think maybe another day we can talk about my shirts and my love of Seashell City, because that's probably gonna be a recurring thing, if anything.
This shirt, though, it's a very light baby blue,
Yeah,
and I like that. And it's also I bought a Bellini today.
a Bellini bottle. Ethan is a Bellini boy. If
love
anyone is
Bellini.
curious about Ethan and his alcoholic tastes, Bellini.
Yeah,
Bellini is where it's at.
I like gin, Bellini, and Modelo.
So he's fucking weird. But all good things. But yeah, so baby blue is your favorite color today, you'd say. Like almost a sky blue, but a little more teal.
Yeah, powder robin's egg.
Now you're just naming a bunch of different colors. If I were to say anything, this is a aqua sky blue.
It's Disney blue.
You
Dude,
can't
when
say
I worked
Disney
at-
blue. When I
when I
think
worked
of
at Home
Disney
Depot,
blue, I
it
think
was-
it's like a dark blue.
No, I don't think it is. I think it is actually a pretty light blue.
For like Disney, and then
should
it's
look it
the
up.
fucking castle with the star that shoots over it when it says Walt Disney Studios presents. It's this. That's what I think of. But I guess that lighter color. If you look up Disney blue and you see the lighter color, that's
Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of different colors.
yeah, that's a bunch of different shades of blue.
I don't know. When I worked at Home Depot, though, I remember that being like the weirdest. I mean, not the weirdest one, but one that really stuck with me.
Any chance you can mute my mic so I can pee?
No, you gotta pee with the mic on.
Okay. So I'm gonna go get a drink of water.
Here,
There's definitely.
we can. Well, no, I thought I could pause the recording, but I can't. And I guess the only I really don't have a way to mute your mic because it's just one input.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna go pee. So this is now a Gizmo recording.
Ooh.
Gizmo
Wait, yeah.
recording.
Can I try to put it on our
Let's see if
collar?
we can hear her bell.
Yeah, here, I'll introduce everyone to Gizmo. Hey, Gizmo, what's your favorite color today?
Magenta.
Wow. Gizmo, why? Here, I'm going to try to clip. No. Come here. Gizmo. Gizmo, what do you think of the current financial state of the United States? Gizmo, do you think Canada is right putting 100% tariffs on Tesla? Mrs. Gizmo, do you think the king of Ms. Gizmo, do you think the king of England should die? Yeah, Miss Gizmo, how do you feel about? Oh, she's patting at the mic. She doesn't like that. She's getting aggressive. I've got a hostile witness.
I think she sees the light.
Gizmo, it's okay, baby. Gizmo's a cat, by the way. If anyone didn't know. She's the cutest kitty in the whole wide world.
You want to say what she looks like?
Yeah, Gizmo looks like a ball. She looks like a cloud dipped in sweetness and cuddles, covered in love that smells like vanilla and wildflowers.
Okay, well, she is a ragdoll cat. Yeah, so she looks like that, is what I'd say.
A little Siamese in there.
Yeah, she's a little
She's
fluff ball.
She's a mutt. A little fluff mutt. That
But-
doesn't rhyme.
Back to color. What would you say was your first favorite color? If you have to remember your
I'm
very
looking back. Probably red.
Why?
Because of the Red Wings. I remember being like 4 and like being like really into the Red Wings. And then like when we moved to Plainwell and meeting like Kevin, he was really into like my like in kindergarten he was like my best friend. And he played hockey. I really wanted to play hockey, but I was poor, so I couldn't. But we were really into like the Red Wings all in all. So I'd say like red probably my first favorite color growing up.
Interesting. If I really like look back and think about it, I don't know. because I've always been fascinated on a very like day-to-day basis about certain colors. Pink, of course, is generic. Oh yeah, pink. I had a lot of pink stuff, and I think I just liked pink, but not in a that's my favorite color type of way. Teal. I was always really into like a true teal, a bluey green. I remember we had this one. Do you remember that crayon?
Teal.
Do you remember that fucking? It looked like almost dark blue, but kind of greeny. Crayon by Crayola, and it was my favorite color crayon to use because it was essentially just a dark teal, honestly. So that would probably be my first favorite color. But like I said earlier, I mean, a big topic of conversation for me was always, what is your favorite color?
What do you think your last favorite color is going to be?
Oh God. So as I'm dying and I'm reminiscing over my life and I'm really taking stake with everything, I mean, my two recurring favorite colors are, you know, a deep, dark blue purple. It's like a night sky, but with the sun just setting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I like colors that are confusing, anything that's in between two things. So
Yeah.
if you look at it a certain way, yeah, that's purple. If you look at it another way, yeah, that's blue, but dark.
Yeah.
That would probably be it, because I feel like towards the end of my life, it's going to be, you know, you're just going to start seeing darkness. Or just like a lima bean green. Pea green, as I call it.
Pea green.
Those are my two recurring favorite colors. God, they get me every time. They're just good go-to colors.
You know what's a good go-to color? Orange.
Yeah.
Burnt orange.
Hey, I was looking at it when I changed out the colors of Froyo today, and we have our own orange Dole Whip. That orange was a fucking nice-looking piece of orange.
Woo. That's
Just
a nice-looking piece of orange.
True orange.
God damn, that orange. Woo!
Yeah.
I love orange.
But your favorite color,
I think you're right.
I think I clocked it.
Yeah.
Ethan has been self-proclaimed orange guy for the longest fucking time.
Super long. This is why the beanie that you're
orange
seeing.
beanies.
By the way, the picture Abby drew identical to how we look, actually.
Yes, actually. That's what we look like. I am bespectacled with brown hair, and Ethan is bald-headed with an orange beanie.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more, just an orange beanie.
And we both have nice pink cheeks.
Pinball eyes.
Black eyes.
Yeah.
Doll.
Doll's
Dolls. Like eyes like a doll. But yeah, is that why you made my name yellow?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
And I made my name Periwinkle, which is the first color I remember my mom's favorite color.
Might be the best name for a color, if I had to
Periwinkle is fucking rocks. Periwinkle?
say. Periwinkle's a good one.
Talk about perimenopausal.
I don't even know what that means.
You know, that's like premenopause. Kind of. Yeah.
But for some reason they just add an RY.
Because it's
at the end.
peri.
Peri.
Perimenopausal, periwinkle, Perry the platypus.
Perry the menopausal platypus.
But periwinkle is a good color because it's almost lavender, but it's more blue. So it has like more of a classic feel, old school feel, in my opinion. I was gonna say, what do you think are the most classic colors? But I would argue red, yellow, blue because those are primary colors.
Doesn't get more classic
I
than
think
that.
has to
Doesn't
be
get more classic than that. You gotta throw green in there.
But it's not.
Because a lot of people think green. A lot of
it's
people.
Not,
But I think it's the
never
next
thought,
one.
I've never thought that green
Right.
is a primary
But
color.
you're a color fanatic.
But I've never thought that a day in my life, even when
Right,
I didn't understand color.
you're
It was
like-
always red, yellow, blue.
You're
is
autism
primary.
man, and when I say this, I don't mean Abby actually has autism. My mom worked with people with autism, and she feels that everyone has a little bit of autism, and I agree with her. And I think Abby's autism manifests in colors.
I think, if anything, I might have ADHD. The more that I talk about it and the more that I think about ADHD, my
you're
mom
probably
has
right.
ADHD, which is something that she's found out very recently late in life. I might have ADHD. But I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, so that's a whole other thing that, like, might be the case, or it might just be ADHD, or I might just be fucking weird.
Yeah, you're just fucked up.
Yeah, I'm quirky. I'm a quirky girl. Color.
Color.
What's your thoughts on color? Is there a color you hate?
I don't like neons. Neon colors I have a hard time looking at sometimes, like a neon green. Like it's just, I feel like I gotta squint my eyes to look at it.
It's
Although,
like bright.
when I was playing football, my favorite pair of cleats I ever had were like some Nike cleats that were like low ankle. So like, and then like in football, you're supposed to wear a high ankle so you can have like
Ankle support.
But
Sure.
I didn't, which is why I probably
Ooh.
fucked my ankles up a lot. I wore like soccer cleats. I really wore soccer cleats when I was playing football, but I had ones
Weird.
and they were like black because on our team we could only wear black cleats.
Yeah.
But mine were cool because I had like a neon green Nike swoosh, and then the
Ooh.
aglets. Thank you, Phineas and Ferb. Were like neon, were like the exact same neon green color.
Sure. That's fun.
Yeah, I was pretty fucking badass as a
youngin'.
110-pound wide receiver.
Yeah. I was into neon for a while. My wardrobe for the longest time when I was in 5th grade, I wore Old Navy clothes, specifically Old Navy V-neck t-shirts that had a pocket on one side, but a teeny tiny pocket you couldn't fit anything in besides like a quarter, and they were only neon. I had neon yellow, I had neon pink, and that neon pink I would like always layer my neon camisole under.
A neon camisole?
Neon camisole
Neon
with
cami.
a neon tee on top. That was
my
my
God.
look, with like jean shorts that went down to my knees.
I don't know if I've
'cause I
ever
had to
heard
be
anything more
modest.
2010.
What, neon cami? Yeah.
Especially like kid 2010. Mm-hmm.
That was my look.
Was it Nike?
No, it was Old Navy.
Old Navy?
What are you talking about?
Old
A
Navy.
rich
Even
Nike?
Old Navy, dude. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we were dirt poor.
Yeah.
Not dirt poor. I can't really say that, but my parents' money was wasted on my Christian education, which I've rebelled against since. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, my neon tanks and tees that I would wear all the time. Also relating to neon. I know that I've told Ethan about this multiple times, but just for the sake of it being in a recording, I'm not a bully. I hate to bully people. I'd like to be as nice as I can to every person I meet because I don't know what's going on with their lives or their expectations or whatever's going on with them. But regardless of all that, so in a way that I bullied someone in high school, there was this kid, Dion, in my homeschool
fucking
co-op.
Dion.
Which, I remember Dion, he was always a little bit mean, like he would pick on some of the girls.
Dion, more like peon. Peon me, Dion.
Ew,
Whoop,
what
wait,
kind of
what?
weird his kink. But like, you know, he was a teenage boy messing around with girls and being homeschooled and underprepared for any situation ever. So like, I cannot say that he was mean because he was just a child, but I remember him being mean. All that being said, and he would exclusively wear neon.
I knew a number of neon.
Exclusively, and
Oh, yeah.
also Nike. Bringing it back to the
absolutely.
Nike. Yellow,
He wore, like,
bright yellow Nike shirt with a Nike
like
swoop.
calf-high socks.
Talk about it. Yes, with the reflective.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is what he wore.
Gym
Every single.
shorts.
I can't say every day because we would only meet on Fridays.
No.
But still.
He
every
wore
day.
he wore it every day.
He wore them every day.
He wore it every day.
He wore those fucking neon
He wore his
clothes
best ones on Friday, but he wore
to impress the girls that he was being mean to.
Yes. He's
But
like, shit, I gotta look sharp while I bully.
yes. I do not know how anybody like didn't piece together that neon and the word. Wait, did I say neon or Dion? Neon and Dion rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, so
Yeah, now I remember the story.
yes. So I started calling him Neon Dion because I thought it was just funny. As like, oh, I noticed that he wears neon and his name is Dion, and that's really fucking funny to just call him Neon Dion. It stuck so hard that like me, I was very early into this world of homeschooling and everything. Like, people didn't know who I was really or anything. This was my first or second year being homeschooled. Because prior to that, I was private Christian school. Everybody very quickly started calling him Neon Dion. And I was insanely proud of that, because that's really fucking funny to, like, come up with a nickname that everybody calls him, like, the rest of his life, I'm sure. But he didn't like it, and I felt bad that, like,
fuck him.
people were kind of picking on him. But also, like, he wasn't that nice.
Dion,
and, like,
if you're out there, dude, you can find me at 1350 Sigsbee Street, dog.
You can find me at www.seashellcitymichigan.com. Yeah. But, so I called him Neon Dion, and it stuck. And, like, I feel a little bit bad, but my feeling bad is totally encompassed by my proudness of just coming up with Neon Dion and that sticking. Because that's really fucking funny.
That is good.
That's just good. That's good comedy right there.
Great comedy right there. That would kill it. You to go to a stand-up show and you just and like
I gotta workshop it. I gotta present it.
There's a guy up front. You're doing crowd work. You're like, "Hey, sir, what's your name?" You put it down. He's like, "Oh, my name's Dion," and you're like, "Oh shit, guys, he's wearing neon Dion." Crowd goes crazy.
I feel like that's not a good setup if we're talking crowd work, but I'm sure I could workshop it. I can figure it out.
No, if I was doing crowd work and I would see a guy
I would
wearing...
say, like, a guy wearing neon and say, "Oh,
Right.
you're wearing a lot of neon. Is your name Dion?" Fucking Neon Dion.
I'd be like, "Hey, hello."
Neon Dion ass motherfucker.
I'd be like, "Hello, sir. What's your name?" He'd be like, "It's Dion."
Bradley.
I'd be like, "Oh, I'm
What
sorry."
would you do with his name? Is it Bradley?
If I was like Bradley, I'd be, "Oh, sorry. That's a shit name." Let's work on that. What's a better name for that? I'd invite him up on stage. I'd talk to him, and then I'd have the crowd. We'd rework his name. It'd probably end up being like Laser.
Sure.
No, in my crowd.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we can.
Well, my crowd would probably be.
Yeah,
my
what's your
parents?
crowd? What's my crowd?
My parents are definitely in my crowd.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd probably force Quinn to be there. You'd be there.
I'd be there. I think Gamer Autistics would
Gamer
be your niche.
Yeah.
I think you can appeal to them.
Right.
Broadly, generally.
If my short films have anything to say, my crowd is very much like the cinephile crowd, you know, however that manifests. I think I could get along. So yeah, a lot of autistic people.
Yeah.
I'm a champion for the autists out there.
And you gotta have some nerds and some D&D
Captain Spectrum
fans.
is what they call me.
Yeah. I think you'd really cater well to that group. What would you say my group
I think your group would be kind of
autistic?
Yeah, that, and I think it'd be a lot of like non-binary people or like AFAB that are like questioning.
Oh, we'd get some genderqueer people for sure.
Absolutely. And that's why you and I together
we can conquer the world.
We're like the I'm forgetting his name, but the guy who made the Gangster Disciples the greatest gang of all time, because he unified all the gangs under one in Southside Chicago and called them like the Gangster Disciples.
Sure.
Whatever, it said GDs. Look them up. I'm a GD. I'm not. I shouldn't say that.
I think you could also.
You really gotta be careful taking gang clout.
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just gonna
Especially
ignore
the
all that.
Gangster Disciples.
I'm just gonna say I think you also have a very philosophy perspective.
Yeah.
Philosophic.
Yeah,
That's
there
the
you
word
go.
I'm looking for. So I think you'd have some very introspective people in your circles, which is something that like I'm hoping that us just talking generally can kind of prompt some of these conversations, because you have some very interesting thoughts, and I think I also have some very interesting thoughts that we can like bounce off each other and our perspectives on things.
You know what I think is interesting?
Colors.
A frog's favorite kind of shoe.
Yeah. Hey, listener, what do you think a frog's favorite shoe is? Really think about it. Imagine a frog, and he's wearing a shoe. What shoe would you think a frog would wear?
Or what kind of shoe would a frog be inside of?
What would he be enticed by? What is drawing a frog in?
Really try to go inside the mind of a frog. Think about it. So you were a tadpole once, just swimming around in a
You're
pond.
getting deep with it.
You're trying to live for your life, avoiding
This is a
predators.
joke, also. This is a joke. This is not.
Yeah, what I'm leading up to is one time my favorite just like go-to joke is what is a frog's favorite kind of shoe, and the real just punchline is open-toed, because frog and
toads.
toad. Well, the first time I hit Abby with it,
I thought my answer was
do you wanna
incredibly practical. I
Yeah.
thought it was real. I felt it came from a place of vulnerability and honesty.
Well, here, do you want to do it real quick?
Yeah.
I'm like, so this is like when Abby and I were like
reenactment.
maybe like first dating. So I'm like being like super suave. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey
was
Abby,
suave. That's how
what's a frog's favorite kind of shoe?
And I said a loafer. Because, of course, I feel like a frog wearing a loafer, yeah. You know, he's got sticky big feet. He needs to cover them, but he likes breathability. You know, a loafer, a boat shoe, a Sperry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a frog is into. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I see it.
anytime Ethan still asks that, I think it's very funny. He
Say
said, well, hey,
loafer.
what's a frog's favorite shoe? Of course, setting up the joke,
Loafer.
open-toed. I always say, loafers.
Loafer. I think it's
'Cause
just, I think it's a
loafers is-
funnier punchline.
Loafers
at this
is
point.
funnier. Because it makes sense, but also it fucking doesn't.
Right, exactly. It's almost an anti-joke, but
Yeah.
not quite.
Do you remember your first anti-joke you heard?
I think why did Sally fall off the swings? Because she didn't have any arms.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why was the farmer looking for his tractor? Or what did the farmer say when he couldn't find his tractor?
Fuck.
Where's my tractor?
Oh.
That was my first one that I heard. And that was from my babysitter, Mackenzie Green.
What does a frog say when what does a fish say when it runs into a wall?
Ouch.
Ah, damn.
Okay, PG. Hey, color.
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 I really like orange as a color, but Abby really called me out one time and said my favorite color is yellow.
Because this is something that we've gotten into lately in our relationship. For anyone that's coming across this podcast, interestingly, and don't know us, we are
just at this
dating.
moment. Mm-hmm.
And Ethan is an orange guy. Everything that he has is orange.
Well, not everything.
His room
I
is
have.
painted orange. His shirts and pants are all orange.
I
His
paint
glasses
myself
are
orange every
He
day.
dyes his hair orange. He only ever no. you have a lot of orangeness about you.
Yeah.
Your orange beanies. That's kind
yeah,
of your
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, when I was in my freshman year of college, I kind of like very consciously decided to try and like attach my identity to wearing a beanie, just because I really liked wearing a beanie. I liked the way the orange beanie looked, and I
B,
know
he's a nerd.
right. Well, and also like going into film school, like I know I needed to try and create like some sort of like identity beyond just like filmmaking, you know, because I wanted to be like, I didn't want to just be like, I wanted to be like an auteur as I would learn the word.
I think another interesting category we can talk about is just identity in general. Because I think it's interesting
Sure.
that you had that perspective to try to really approach and make yourself into something,
Right.
whereas I was just a silent observer
Yeah.
and kind of consumed everything
Well,
outside of myself.
the thought that I also had like with wearing the beanie was that like I wanted to stand out in film school, and like I was like wondering, because like when I was in high school, I was like definitely I was very fortunate enough to have like go to a high school that had a program where you had like cameras and editing software and computers to be able to make whatever you wanted. But I was like one of the first people to actually take the class and take it seriously and like write scripts for things, and then like actually like edit something together.
And actually make
Right, not just like workout montages.
Yeah.
And then so like
So
when I
that
got to
relates
college,
orange?
well, so when I got to college, I was very aware of how like when people are like successful in high school and then they go to college, you find everyone was successful in the way you were successful in high
Yeah.
school, you know? So it's like, okay, how do I stand out within that crowd? And it's like, I just want to be the weirdest person. You know, I just want to make the weirdest stuff. Which I very quickly I definitely didn't make the weirdest stuff. That was my friend Hugh. But like I
He was great. Hugh, I would like to say is my friend also,
Sure.
but I think we're acquaintances at best. Love Hugh. Hey Hugh, if you're listening, hey, we should hang out again.
But like, I found a niche within like weirdness that wasn't just weird for the sake of it, but like weird with a fun comedy. But like so like within
Yeah.
that thought, I also like I need to have like an attached identity because I was aware of like when you think of like just like film personalities, they all have like identities.
Ethan
and
is
you
a
think
straight
of,
white guy, so we needed to associate
Exactly.
color with him
Exactly.
to have some sort of identity.
I needed to have something that made me fucking special.
Yeah, and that color was orange.
Yeah, exactly.
Orange
I chose an
beanie.
orange beanie to make me special. But I mean, and like since then, I've attached a lot of just myself, but also just like creative power to the beanie. Like I think I have like almost like a filmmaking outfit, like my orange beanie, but then I have like an MF Doom hoodie that I wear. Like every time I
Yeah.
direct, like I feel like I can only direct in those because it's
Which
like my
I think is interesting because another color that's on the MF Doom hoodie, I feel like
green.
weirdly, is green. Ethan to me is a green person.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, when you think of like Nickelodeon slime green, that is who you are. I think, in my opinion, of you and a color. I think your favorite color is yellow. I think you associate yourself with orange, but you are a green person. Like your aura, in my mind, is green.
I'm a Martian.
That is your. I think that is like your spectrum in my mind.
Mhm.
You know.
Sure.
And I've never assigned any colors to myself specifically. But you know, like how
I mean, I've said I think you're a yellow person.
I was gonna say, if you were to assign me a certain color, you think I'm yellow,
Yeah,
and that's why you're drawn to me, is because you're a yellow person.
I think so.
This is only in recent
it's
weeks
like-
that Ethan has found out that his favorite color is yellow.
Yeah.
He's startled by it
Well-
every time I just say, I think you like yellow more than you think.
Well, and I think there was something we would just like since we've been trying to talk about color, but we just haven't gotten to. The interesting I think about color that you and I get into is like color isn't just like a visual thing, but there's like emotion. And
Yeah.
There's so much attached to it and symbology.
you can get into like branding and colors. Like if you look at orange is a color specifically used in a lot of like fast food and stuff like that. Orange, yellow, and red, because those make you hungry. Orange specifically, anytime you look at the color orange, you will get fucking hungry.
Interesting.
So I remember like in some classes and stuff when I would like wake up for a class and not have enough time to make breakfast and I'd go to class. I would purposefully not look at anything orange because I know that would make my stomach fucking gurgle like a weirdo.
Interesting. Do you
Yeah.
think that's like linked to like evolutionary biology, where like orange
I mean,
was
it's
like
got
a
to be.
color that like would like typically be associated with like a
With
safe thing
foods.
to eat?
Yeah. I mean berries, I mean oranges. Oranges are safe. I can't think of
Oranges,
it.
berries.
Maybe other
tomatoes.
flowers and things that you could consume. Flowers, lilies. I don't know if those are edible or what.
You kind of the salmon's kind of orange.
That's pink. That's pink. But orange is one of the colors. Like if you were to look it up, like just the color theory and stuff, orange is you are hungry.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of like fast food places that use yellow and red and oranges in their marketing to make you feel more hungry than you actually are. And when you think about McDonald's as yellow and red, you think about Burger King as yellow, red, and blue. You think of a lot of chains.
I mean, I was trying to think of like food that use orange, and the only one I could think of was like Popeyes.
Carl's Jr. It's that like yellow red combo that's like the primary colors. It's kind of like simplification, but you combine yellow and red that makes orange. If anybody doesn't understand color theory, which that's the fucking simplest thing ever. So if you think you can't combine yellow and
They
red
might be
into-
colorblind.
Hey, that's true. Hey, if you combine gray and gray, you get a deeper gray.
It's deeper gray.
Yeah. But color theory is really interesting. So that's something that like I became very aware of, specifically in college. That like orange is a very hungry color, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. But I think you are a green person. So you think I'm a yellow person?
Yeah.
Do you think what color do you think I would ascribe to myself? Like, what color do you associate with me based off of my way that I represent
view
myself?
yourself?
Yeah.
Deep purple.
It's fucking what?
I think you're, well, because like you've very said, you're still trying to like figure yourself out, you know. I think you're kind of a mystery to yourself almost.
Oh, and this is something, if we keep this podcast up, which I do hope we do,
I think we will.
we can get.
I think this setup is the best setup we've had so far.
Well,
it's the easiest.
Yeah, because we
And you
have
got these
conversations with each other.
Great
and I think we're
microphones
interesting people.
for me.
Oh, yeah. I'm such a good girlfriend. I'm such a good gift giver. I know how to buy lav mics for Ethan. Why would you say dark purple?
Well, I mean, I think you're still trying to figure yourself out. You're a mystery to yourself.
So you feel like mystery is dark purple in your mind?
I mean, what is it? What else? What other color would mystery?
No,
be?
I do think mystery is dark purple. Confusion. What color is confusion? Let's talk about certain emotions and see what color you think
I still get
confusion
like
is.
purple with like some pink and green. I see it as a fog. First of all, it's like a smoky
thinking-
fog that's like purple, and then there's like kind of like some green, almost like embers coming
You're
up
thinking
into
about
it.
it
and
very cinematically.
That's just how I think.
Sure. I think maybe this is why you will probably succeed more cinematically than I will, and I will write more. Because I think confusion is almost like periwinkle. The more that we talk about it, if you look at my name, Abby, I think just the confusion is kind of like it's like this looking at the sky in a weird haze. It's just a periwinkle, kind of an odd, not
I feel like-
unsettling, but just you're stuck in the middle between two things you don't understand. Is it blue? Is it purple?
In my mind, I almost feel like periwinkle is like the stage, like you take that fog and you're trying to like figure out what it is, and you're trying to like shape it into something, and like in between like its final form, which would almost be just like a condensed cube of just like solid blue, which in my mind is just understanding, like just like a pure fucking blue, you know.
Sure.
I think periwinkle is like when it's like in its like mush stage, when you're still trying to push it all together, you know.
Okay.
You've gotten the green embers out of it. It's a uniform color now, but it's
Play-Doh stage.
it's kind of still falling through your fingers a little
not
bit.
a cube yet.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was just gonna say the first color that I remember my mom's favorite color being is periwinkle.
My
she
mom's
was
favorite
always-
color is green.
I was gonna
Always
say,
has been.
what's your mom's favorite color? Does your dad have a favorite color?
That's a good. I don't.
My dad's favorite color is royal blue. It always has been. Probably always will be. Very standard. A very traditional color. I don't want to say uninteresting because I don't want to knock on my dad's favorite color, but also it's fucking royal blue. What,
Yeah.
what can you say and do about that? But my mom's was always periwinkle. I don't know what it is now. She's
What do you
kind
think
of
that says about your mom?
What do you think her favorite color being periwinkle is?
Yeah. Well, no. What do you think? What do you think that says about her?
Well, that's an interesting topic of conversation. I think,
Let's become like Freud of dreams, but for color.
yeah, let's do that. Actually, this whole podcast
Just
is
do
only
some like
ever
some
gonna be
like
around
pseudo
color.
psychology with color.
I think, outside of just periwinkle, because I was gonna say the other color that she was kind of leaning towards was red, which my grandma has also in recent years come around to red, which is her mom's mom. So I think generationally there's something kind of going on with red, which maybe one day my favorite color will be red based off of my genetics. Am I genetically disposed to liking the color red? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's how the genetics work. But I think as far as periwinkle goes and what that said about my mom when she was younger, I think periwinkle is just a comforting color.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it says anything about my mom, it probably just says that she was seeking comfort and solace in a certain identity. I think periwinkle, outside of anything, is just a very comforting color, and something that, I mean, when you look at it, it's not anything that is alarming. It's not anything that's jarring.
Has your mom said her favorite color has always been periwinkle?
No. She hasn't said it's always been periwinkle, but for the majority of my childhood, it was periwinkle.
Because, okay, I almost feel like that's a point in my favor of thinking periwinkle is a color of almost understanding, you know? Because I feel like your mom kind of has things figured out, but there's still a lot going on in her life that's, like, really troubling her, you know? And
Well, and I think no matter what in everyone's life, there's always going to be something that maybe troubles them. I think really what it is finding solace in certain things and finding comfort in very specific things. I think
Sure.
with periwinkle, it's something that's comforting. It's something that's intriguing.
dude, we could write a book on color.
We really can. I mean, the blues in general always relate
Every page
to...
is a different color. Sorry.
Fuck, that would be cool.
If you had to read.
But always relating to some kind of intelligence. Always relate, like, blue is very linked with knowledge and
Yeah.
understanding of certain things.
Yeah, I mean, when we
Purple
talk
is
about,
always
like...
very calming and royal.
Yeah.
And,
When we talk about, like, classes and, like, the color, like, blue was, like, math for me, you know? Like, I'd always have, like, a blue folder for
sure.
math class.
Yellow is history.
And, yeah, social studies, history.
Red is...
Well, I also like English. I think I used yellow for English.
What did I use
And
for
I used
English?
purple for, like, history and
What
social
did I use
studies.
red for?
Green is science.
I used blue... no. Did I use blue for science?
How can green not be science? Come on, dude.
Green? Listen. See, now you're confusing me. Blue was science. Yellow was math. Red was history. Green
Yeah, red is... Yeah, I vibe with
was
that.
fucking... I don't think I had a green folder. I don't remember, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. But that's interesting to think about, like, what your favorite color says about you as a person. I think what yellow says about... This is interesting. So, you know my two favorite colors, so I'm going to interpret you as yellow and what I think that says about you, and
Sure.
then you can interpret me and what that might say about me. I think why you like yellow or why you're so drawn to yellow, I wouldn't say you're a pessimistic person. I think you're a realist. But in today's state, in today's world, I think that can lead towards pessimistic. I think you're very practical. So in embracing yellow, yellow is a very joyful, exuberant color. Something that you can find a lot of... I mean, yellow is a color of joy. It's a color of, like, life coming from the sun.
Yep.
I think...
Source of energy.
Yeah. I think, if anything, that's just you counterbalancing your
I mean,
intentions.
electricity, we would be yellow.
Yeah. I just think generally, like, you're trying to find something that brings you life, brings you joy, brings you more than what you have, and I think that's yellow to you.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's you
that's
just
why
being...
I'm very much drawn to, like, yellow.
Yeah. And seeing yellow in any capacity is just more life, more joy, more brightness that you kind of don't always experience on a day-to-day basis. Because you're a realist. And that's fine. But it can be kind of sad if that's really your whole perspective and your whole view.
Right.
That's why I think you like yellow. What do you think about me? Why do you think I like midnight and pea green? You can focus on
think
pea
it's-
green. I think if I were to lean on anything, I would say pea green is my tried and true. Or celery green. You get into the celery green of it all.
Yeah. The thing is, like, with you, you've put so much, like, thought into it, you know? It's like, you've placed certain values on things already, so it's almost hard to analyze.
Do you want me to analyze myself?
Well, and I yes, I would, but
could.
I still would like to, like, answer your question and stuff.
I can go first,
and
or I can go second.
And so kind of, like, based off, like, I think, like, with pea green, I know we were kind of just talking about it, but I think pea green is also, like, a very much green in general can kind of be like a very grounding color. You know, it's the color of earth,
Yeah.
life. When I say life, I mean like kind of like organic life
Yeah,
specifically,
greenery on the earth.
not just like
yeah.
life vibes, but like
Right, you're
living
birthing a
life.
baby, it's fucking red because you're bleeding.
Well, sure.
But I get what you're saying.
And I think a lot of times you in your own headspace get very ethereal and abstract. Does that make any fucking sense? Like you're very.
I mean, I do. I don't know how that relates to green.
Well, so when you like the reason why you like green is because like it literally grounds you from this.
Oh,
from
for my
your-
weirdness and my noggin.
Yeah,
about
exactly. Like
who
like
I am
it's
in the world
it's
and
the-
what is my impact and who am I supposed to be and what am I meant to be. And
right.
what is
You're
my
always
impact
yeah.
in my
You like in like so
interpersonal relationships.
right. So
Yeah.
you just look for something that is just kind of
calming.
simple and calming and understanding and
Sure.
grounding. Not I just feel like I keep saying the same word, but it's the same thing with like me with like being a realist that
Yeah.
understands things are kind of fucking awful.
Yeah. I think
Finding
you
something
are.
that gives me levity.
You are generally very realistic. I am not. But I need some elements of realism to kind
Right.
of ground me a little bit more, which might be why I gravitate towards green, which
Yeah.
is interesting. I think I can agree with that. Celery green in general, that very weird, or even chartreuse, like a yellowy green, a gross green. I like odd things, I think. I like things that aren't quite uncomfortable, but they're uncomfortable in a way that they're almost comfortable again. You know, like that cycle of just like, it's almost too gross, it's almost too weird that it becomes something that's comforting again, because it's so outside of the realm of just what's normal that it, like, feels right. Does that make any sense?
I mean, I guess like I kind of can get it, but I guess I would only get it if like it's something like you're conditioned to get, you know?
Sure. And I mean, if you get into like, yeah, I mean, we could get real into gender identity, sexuality, stuff like that, where it's like, I feel like I'm so outside of the realm of what's just normal that finding something that feels weird in the way that I feel weird, but still commonplace in the world, makes me feel grounded in the same way that just green generally makes me feel grounded. I think that's maybe what it relates back to.
Sure.
But yeah. What would you say is your least favorite color when you look back to all your years? Not even just right now, because I know that I kind of ask that question pretty frequently. But what's your one color that you think? Yeah, I've never really loved it.
It's more of a combination, and
Oh,
you're
well, then give it to me.
you're gonna get it as soon as I get it.
Okay.
Green and yellow. It's the Packers.
Oh, okay,
And, like,
together, sure, yeah. But you love yellow.
I do, and I love you, but fucking green and yellow together makes me want to barf because I fucking hate the Packers. Fuck the Packers.
That's.
I'm
I almost
a
said it.
Lions fan. I should clarify.
I almost said the thing that you banned me to never say, which is fucking crazy, I will say.
Go Pack, go.
Yeah, in my Trixie
You're
Mattel accent. fucking-
Currently in my bed, and we've joked about this before because like there's an
he said
episode
that
of
he would kick me out of his bed if I ever said it one more
no,
time.
not necessarily that, but there's an episode of a New Girl where like Nick kicks Jess out of the bed
Yeah,
because she's
the
wearing
Knicks.
she's wearing a Pistons jersey.
Oh, that's right.
And I would be a fan of the Pistons if I cared about basketball at all. But because he's a Bulls fan, and the Bulls and the Pistons have a rivalry going back a bit. But like Jess was wearing like a Pistons jersey, and Nick kicked her out of the bed, and I told Abby that she wouldn't. And like
I've
stand
never
by
fucking
it.
cared about the Packers, so why would I? But
Right.
also that's kind of really fucking funny and so petty to me. Like outside of the world of sports, I don't fucking get that. Ethan does not play on the Lions, so why the fuck does he care if I'm wearing a Packers jersey? Because like I'm his girlfriend, and that's more personal than like a weird sports rivalry. It doesn't fucking make sense, but it makes sense to him. So I'll let it be. And I also don't fucking care about sports. So, I mean, like,
it's funny when I asked you on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you care about football? And you said, because dating me, it's a 1.
yeah.
Otherwise, it would be a 0.
Yeah. I mean, like, my dad would try to play the Super Bowl or something, and we'd always be watching something else. So we'd, like, flick back to just check the scores. I do not care about sports.
We would always throw, like, a big Super Bowl party, or we'd go to
I
someone
like the
who's having a
dip.
Super Bowl party.
I love the 9-layer dip. You know, something weird like that. But that's food. I like food. I like community. I like an added sense of, like, everyone rooting for the same thing. I think that's fun. But, like, do that for Drag Race. I do not care about fucking sports. I really don't.
Yeah, we need a Super Bowl for drag.
We actually do need to catch up on RuPaul's Drag Race and the new season, because I think they are releasing the episodes. So I do want to see the queens that are coming out.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, I do think it's interesting. Speaking of Yellow and drag queens, Nymphia Wind, I'm surprised that she wasn't... How do you think she rates on your list of favorites? Because she is yellow, and she's a drag queen.
I mean, I think if we started with later seasons, I think she'd be, like... Because, like, it's almost... drag is kind of like every other, like, art form. It's kind of who you're, like, introduced to, like, once you really start understanding it, and, like, the first person who clicks with, like, whatever you really
So,
admire.
who do you say is your favorite drag queen?
Alaska.
Right now in this moment.
Alaska Thunderfuck.
Yes.
She's so amazing.
But that's funny, because I think that was, like, the 3rd or 4th, maybe 5th season that we watched. That was in a little bit
Right,
of
but
a
I mean,
ways.
that's when you
she did-
really start to understand it. You know, because they
Yeah.
say your favorite music is when you're, like 12 to 16, kind of. And
that's
everything
why I
after
still
that
hold on to
won't
the
kind of
Beatles.
hit.
I remember when I first started listening to the Beatles, and I got some clothes from Kohl's, and I had these red, like, Aztec pattern pants that had leg slits all up the sides that could totally open up to my whole crotch if I really wanted them to. I thought they were edgy.
Cooter shot.
And I had this Rockin' Republic tee also from Kohl's that was like red and blue shift. Also another V-neck. I was really into V-necks
This
as a
hole
child
belongs
for
to
some reason.
Cole.
So I had that, and then I also had a black knit, like crochet kind of
Pronounced
cardigan.
croquet.
Yeah, croquet.
Sorry, I'm kind of drunk.
I am too.
Whatever.
But it was like a black crochet cardi kind
Pronounced
of.
croquet.
And I remember wearing that outfit, and I was laying in my bed, and I was listening to the Beatles, and I remember just thinking, I'm kind of the person that I might be meant to be.
Huh, Ringo Starr kind of sucks at drums.
Just shut the fuck up. Yeah, he's not but whatever.
But yeah, wearing all that, the person you meant to be, just listening to Ringo.
Because it was one of the first moments, and maybe this is another interesting topic for us down the road, is just clothing items and what we remember, because I have and I don't think you do, but I have very specific memories with certain items of clothing. I had those red Aztec pants with the slits up the sides, my red and blue V-neck tee, and then my like crochet cardigan that was like short sleeve with fringe on the bottom that was black. And I remember I had my laptop when I was homeschooled, and I had a DVD or a CD of one of the Beatles anthology, and I just listened to that on full blast in my room when I finally had my own room for the first time. And I remember just thinking, this could be me. This could be my future. This could be the person that I will be when I grow up.
You being like super into the clothes, it made me think like, do you remember what your first favorite piece of clothes you had was?
Yep.
And I was trying to remember. I don't think I do. If I'm trying to be honest, I think my first favorite piece of clothes was like wool socks.
Oh, don't say that. I just had my birthday, and I asked my dad, well, I asked both my parents, if you were to have a very weird and interesting piece of clothing that you haven't really thought of before that you'd really like to embrace, maybe a new aspect of yourself, what would it be and why? My dad said neon yellow wool socks.
Oh, gross.
And that was the most inventive thing that he could think of. But he did later say, like, a vest with a bunch of pockets. So, a little bit more interesting.
You saying that reminds me, and we're going to the theater tomorrow, reminds me, I had, like, a little tiny, like, suit for when I was, like 6 to, like, 8. Maybe not even that. It would have been, like, 1 year, because, like, when you're young, you're going quick.
Yeah.
I remembered wearing
Your suit?
wearing that suit, and I had a tie, but it was like a clip-on tie. But it wasn't a clip-on, it was a zip
What
tie.
color was it? What color?
I think it
Ooh,
was silver.
color.
The tie
So
would have
gray.
been like a bluey kind of
Okay.
what is this?
Check pattern.
Not a check.
Gingham.
Flannel. It was like a blue flannel.
Okay, but flannel is the material, not the pattern of it.
Okay,
this is a buffalo check, if I were to.
So, but okay, but like, what is it if it's blue and it's like red and green lines?
That's just plaid.
Plaid. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It was like a plaid tie.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like pad
You think
tie.
that's your favorite first item of clothing?
I'm really trying to think back
See, I
because
can
like I
bring it
never
back
was
to religious
super
trauma.
attached. I mean, I remember being like,
I bet you could say the name of my first favorite outfit and my religious trauma that's attached to
oh
it.
yeah, because you weren't allowed to wear. Was it like a dress or whatever?
No,
it was shorts.
It was, interestingly, like how I talked about earlier, a kind of teal turquoisey with hot pink and yellow. It was a set that I was so excited to wear. It was my like teal tank cami that had a pineapple on it that was like a glitter pineapple on the front of it. And then my shorts.
Means you want to swing.
I was fucking 4 years old. But I love this outfit so much.
Freaky fucking 4-year-old.
It was, don't fucking say that. My blue tank top with a golden pineapple on the chest. I thought it was so cute. And I probably said something about like, life is sweet or something like that. Like for a 4-year-old, because we're appropriate for a 4-year-old and not fucking talking about swinging.
Well.
And then my shorts that, they were short shorts, granted, but I was fucking 4 years old. And they were hot pink and teal and that gold, and they had like some sparkles on it that were just like a bunch of layered patterns of pineapples. They were my favorite pair of shorts, my favorite tank top. I loved them. I loved the colors. I thought they were so cute. I remember the day that, not my mom, but the day that my dad became a Christian, I was no longer allowed to wear those shorts. I could wear the tank top if I had something on top of it because it was a spaghetti tank. I was 4 years old. I did not understand modesty. I did not understand clothes. I didn't understand sexuality.
You're a fucking 4-year-old. There's nothing to show off.
No, like shorts, it's like 2 inches on my leg, which for my whole leg as a child, that was like a third of my leg.
Yeah.
Like,
You're barely a fucking person.
really. And I love those shorts. I love that tank top. And I remember the day that my dad became a Christian and I was no longer allowed to wear that outfit. I don't know if it was maybe specifically that day, but it was just it became a conversation about, now that we have this worldview, it's about modesty. And this is what we are going to choose to wear. This is what we're going to allow you to wear. But what that came down to is my favorite pair of shorts were fucking taken away from me. And I can never wear them again. And I was really fucking sad because it was a cute ensemble. And I had a tank and shorts that matched. And now I didn't have anything to match with it. So that's my religious trauma in a nutshell.
I mean, kind of basically, I never had anything like that. I was never super attached to. I mean,
I had a Pokemon jumper that I would wear to my Christian private school that was like, it was a overall dress. So imagine like overalls, but it's just a dress and it has Pokemon on it. It said Pokemon in the front chest pocket and like Pikachu and Raichu and Bulbasaur and Venusaur maybe. Fucking, I don't remember.
Sure,
But it was
that's
just some
a-
like weird
yeah.
Pokemons like all embroidered on it, and it was
maybe
really cool.
maybe Ivysaur.
Maybe.
Maybe-
Eevee, I think, was on it.
Maybe Squirtle. Maybe
There weren't that many that were embroidered on it.
War
Bulbasaur, I
Turtle.
think, was on it. Wordle.
Wartortle.
I'm gonna fucking do this one more time.
I gotta pee though. I was gonna let you finish.
Oh,
But I guess while you're doing that, I can talk about how when I was a kid, I remember like hearing about and like so like my mom worked with like special needs kids like when I was super young and like kind of like all through my childhood. And like I remember all of those kids and like also just like a lot of my friends having like being like very attached to like blankets or like certain stuffed animals. Like my godfather and my godmother had like a kid on the exact same day I was born and stuff, and she was always super attached to like this cow that she called like Moo Kitty, this like stuffed cow. And I always remembered being like, I was never super attached to anything, and I always remember kind of being like I wanted to be attached, and I feel like
Say, did you want to be attached to something?
yeah, and I remember feeling like, why am I not attached to anything? So like I kind of like, I don't know if I necessarily consciously chose, but like there was certainly it was a choice that I made to like, okay, this is going to become my favorite stuffed animal, and it was a purple, like little tiny, not necessarily Beanie Baby, like off-brand Beanie Baby, but like a purple gorilla, and I ended up naming him Coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, and I remember I remember going out to my mom and saying, "This is Coffee, and this is my favorite stuffed animal."
What did she say to that?
I don't know. Probably something really supportive. Which I'm finally back at the part of Harmontown, which is Dan Harmon's podcast. Which I just want to be Dan Harmon. But like Dan Harmon being like, oh, if you had supportive parents, you'll never be good writers. But at the same point, because like the point he's trying to make is like you need to have trauma to be a good writer, and I'm just like, that is my trauma. I don't have any trauma.
Yeah, there's been a couple different.
Alright, I'm peeing.
I mean,
You gotta vent.
the fucking Daniel Sloss, that was one of his things that he talked about in one of his specials, is just like not having trauma and trying to use that as a way to have trauma, but it's not the same thing. It definitely is not the same thing. When you were talking about something that you really wanted to stick to or something that you were attached to, I think that was kind of interesting. Because something that I really try to stick to, so I'm an identical twin, and I always had my sister around, so I always kind of had, like a built-in friend, someone that was always just around. But Katie and I, from a young age, we watched a lot of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and I always liked the idea of having an imaginary friend to do stuff with, and I always thought that was really fun and kind of a different way to have friends, because I was always used to just having someone my age that was always around, and so I would like try to come up with different imaginary friends, not on a daily basis, but definitely like pretty frequently I'd like try to imagine something. So like different unicorn type of things would be kind of my go-to as a young girl, or even like what I saw on Foster, so like something like Blue, the fucking main imaginary friend, would be the thing that I was like always drawn to, because I wanted to have like that normal experience of having an imaginary friend or having something that was kind of attached to normal childhood things, because I thought I was kind of missing out on some of that. But I always gave up on them after a day of like kind of making them my friend, because I had my sister. Like I don't know, I didn't care, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't need that extra
Sure.
pressure or extra weird attachment in that way.
You didn't need an imaginary friend because you had a real friend,
Yeah.
and she was your sister.
Mhm. And apparently when Katie and I were like really little, we had like some kind of language that we'd communicate with, and the, you know, that my mom would always be like, "What are they saying?" And we could convey thoughts, but that ended pretty quickly. And like Katie and I, as far as identical twins go, it definitely more of the less attached twins. I think we had a very interesting sisterhood. But it's something that I think we're getting back to in recent days, recent months, recent years.
Yeah.
Which,
In your mirror image twins.
yes. Colors.
Colors. What color is Katie to you? And why?
Sage green.
I totally see that.
Yeah,
also
Katie is-
maybe like brown.
I was gonna say like a burnt orange or like
Her husband
a
Lucas is kind of brown to me.
like a rust red. I could see
Okay.
as the alternative, but Katie's just a very grounded, sensible person that generally has her wits about her. I definitely doubt a lot of her tactics in some things at certain times, but I think just generally, you know, she tries to be connected, but more than anything, I think she understands herself and her place in the world, which is something that I think I envy of her more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because I don't envy her for fucking anything else. But yeah, I think she knows who she is. She's very grounded. She's earth conscious, and she went vegan for a while, or a number of years, and just very, I think, aware of herself and her place in the world. So, and I think that roots her to like a sage green or like a rust brick red.
Sure.
You know, just kind of grounded and understated but understood.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'd say. What would you say your brother is, if you really associate him with a color?
That's a good question. What color is Drew? My first instinct is just like green, but because in my mind Drew is just science. He's always been just like a super like analytical, smart. You know, because growing up he was the smart one. You know, I mean he still is, in my opinion, the smart one out of the two of us. But so he's 3 years older than me. So every time and we always went to the same school. I would go to a school after like he went through, and so all of the teachers would remember him because of how fucking smart he was, and never. I feel like I always had teachers that were always great with recognizing that siblings aren't each other.
The same person.
So they wouldn't never expect me to do the exact same things that Drew would do, and I think a lot of times they were also very okay with that, because I was certainly more talkative in classes than Drew was, and very much willing to get involved in classes. Because Drew, one of my favorite stories of Drew growing up is when he was taking chemistry in high school, he would be listening to the lecturers while also like doing a Rubik's Cube, and the teacher thought that was super disrespectful every time he did it, and then every time she would ask him a question to try and catch him on not paying attention,
would know.
he would absolutely know it, because he was just trying to like, because like just learning fucking chemistry just like wasn't enough to like occupy his mind. He needed something else to do.
I don't know, if I think of anything that I would think that Drew would be, I think he's like an electric blue.
An electric blue, okay.
You know what I mean?
And then it's
the same science kind of.
So if I think more about it, I almost want to go like an off-white kind of, you know, because like if I really think about it,
not marshmallow white by Bear.
Drew has never done anything wrong, I think. Like, when we were growing up, I was the one who would get into trouble, you know? Like, I was the one who would... The reason my mom and Drew would fight is because, like... The only times I ever remember would be because, like, Drew didn't want to get a job or something in high school.
Sure.
But, like, other than that, like, he literally never did anything wrong. He's just such, like, a pure soul, and I have no idea why.
Hey, well, you know, good for him.
Yeah.
But good for you and your understanding, and keep moving forward.
I think he has a lot to develop within himself. But also at the same time, I don't know if he wants to develop himself. You know, I feel like he's just really fine being
Just as he is.
just as he is.
Well, and that's something that I think is so interesting. There is certain people that are very introspective and trying to understand exactly what they are and who they are in the world, versus people that just exist as they are and don't have any hesitation as to. It's just now of like, what do they do?
Right. Right.
Versus who they are, and I think that's a very interesting. So identity, I think, is another conversation we'll talk to at some point. But for now, for color.
For color.
For color, do you have any other color questions? Color thoughts?
Final thoughts on color.
Do you understand? Do you know tertiary colors and complementary colors?
I know
and-
complementary colors. Blue and orange are complementary colors because
So,
they're opposite sides of the
Just
color
understanding
wheel.
what tertiary is instead of just seeing what's exactly
third
across,
color.
it's like a split. So what's the
Sure.
If you were to see the visual I'm trying to convey,
So if
like
it
essentially
is
a
like
peace
blue and
sign without the middle
orange.
stripe.
Is the tertiary color to blue-green?
Fucking.
Let's pull up the color wheel.
Just pull up a color wheel, because I'm confused by what you just said. So, like, tertiary colors, if you were looking at, like, yellow, you would be looking at, like, pink and cyan as the tertiary colors.
Okay,
So you got to
very
look at, like,
good
if you're
there.
splitting it evenly versus what
So,
the
okay, yeah.
complementary color of yellow is would be a true blue.
When I was saying like orange and blue, green is the tertiary.
Yeah, kind of. If you're looking at more of like a reddish orange, and then like a true blue, and then a green.
Sure. Okay.
Alright.
But yeah, color theory is really interesting. We could talk about color theory with light,
Oh God.
but that's a whole other basket
Yeah.
of worms.
Hate blue is a fill. Just
Sure.
knock it off, filmmakers.
Ethan
It's
knows.
mostly amateur filmmakers using blue light.
Yeah.
Fucking hey, if you're listening to this, you're an amateur filmmaker. Don't fill your scene with blue light because it's a very low. If we're getting into the physics of it, the wavelength for blue is very low. It's a very long wavelength. So when we see it into our eyes, it's a very low energy light, which is why blue looks darker compared to other colors. So when you fill a scene with blue light, yeah, putting it into the camera, and if you're taking readings, you might be at a proper exposure, but to the human eye, it's still gonna look dark. So you need something fucking brighter than just fucking blue, guys. Come on. I understand it's a very deep and like, moody color, but like, make it an
do purple or
accent
something
color.
else. 'Cause
Well,
it's,
No, if we're
purple's
gonna
better than blue though, as far as lighting goes.
stick tungsten or incandescent for filling.
Wow. Okay.
And then do whatever you want for background color.
Don't listen to me because Ethan knows more about lighting than I do. But, hey, like Ethan said, hey, if you're listening, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I hope your day, morning, evening, night is going well.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing well and in good health.
Yep. And if you're not, that's fine.
And if you're not, I wish you a brighter future and endeavors in your health journey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess, I mean, wrapping up color and our thoughts about it.
Color wrap. This
I mean,
is a color
I'm sure
wrap.
that we could find other things that
Take a
we could
nap,
really
Dream
talk
about color, yellow, orange, don't know one another, but green is a friend, and blue is not. He's the enemy. Bum, bum, bum. The enemy. Sorry. I'm
So
kinda drunk.
that's an Ethan original color song. If Gizmo had a favorite color, what color do you think Gizmo would
Gizmo's
like?
favorite color would be yellow.
No, I think she's red. I think she would love red. I think she's kind of a she's a sassy lady, but
Can Gizmo see red?
no, she can't. She can see blues and yellows. But I think if she were to see the full spectrum
Yeah.
of colors, I think she'd really be in red.
Appreciate red the most.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's a primary. It's really bold. It's precise. I think Gizmo, she always knows what she wants. Her only issue is communicating with us, and that's because we don't understand Gizmo-ish. But yeah, it's a color that's got attitude, precision, attention, force.
Yeah.
I think all attitudes and stuff that Gizmo has and is capable of.
There's a lot of energy in red.
And I think if you were to think about it maybe in a little
lot
more
of
niche
love.
way, like a hot pink red.
Sure.
Something that's a little more pink toned. She could be really into.
Something more loving than angry in red.
Yeah.
Because, I
A
mean,
little
Gizmo, she can get a little
Gizmo's a
angry.
sweet little love bug. She really is.
So when you have to play with her tummy, she might get a little playful.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that was one of my tests because I did not think that I was a cat person, and I adopted her when I had $20 and didn't think more about it. But I tested her as much as I possibly could to see, like, what she could handle or what she would absolutely freak out at me about. And she would, like, bite at me, but not in a way that was harsh. It was just a warning. Hey, that might be a little bit too much for me, but she never did anything that would actively hurt me or harm me, and I think that's something that could be conveyed by a reddish pink. She's just sweet. She knows what she wants. She's very attentive and careful, and
Miss Gizmo, what would you say your favorite color is? She agrees.
she said brown. Holy fuck.
Whoa, Gizmo.
Did you hear that? Everybody, a cat just talked on the
Live
fucking
on
audio.
air.
She said brown because it's part of the color of her face and her ears. And she's so self-absorbed.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I think just final thoughts wrapping up. Thank you anybody who listened to our conversation about colors. Let us know if there's any topics that you want us to talk about, any specific categories that you want our opinions on. Because one thing about Ethan and I, we both definitely have opinions. So if you're curious about our takes on anything, let us know. Give us some ideas. And I'm sure that we'll talk about it because we got nobody else that's suggesting anything.
Are you cool if we title this "We Could Talk About That"?
Let's our next installment. We should talk about what we think the name of it's going to be and just general thoughts because we definitely got on some tangents this time around. But
Well, okay.
potentially, we can talk about that. So yeah, we did. Thank you.
We talked about that.
We did. We did the thing.
All right.
Thank you. Love you guys. Hope you're well.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.